Welcome to Kollecting Kaos. My name is James, and today I'm going to show you how I did a light cleaning to this Binky's Buddies. But before I get into that, I haven't released a video in about a week, a little over a week, except for the shorts, which I have those pre-recorded for weeks at a time. So they just drop automatically and I don't have to fool with it. And that's because it got really cold here. I live in a really old house, very little insulation. So it was really cold in my house. In the place that I do most of my recording, this room and the other room, was just too cold for me to try to get anything done. So I just decided, okay, I'm not going to make videos till it warms up a little bit. And that's the whole reason for this. Now I do show what I did to clean this. I do not show how I press it. And it's not that I'm trying to keep a secret on my pressing methods from anybody, because my methods are not that much different from everybody else's. The thing is, everyone has to learn how to press on their own. The only way you can do that is by experiment. You keep trying it on older comics until you're confident that you've got it down to where you're comfortable. The reason I don't show it is, number one, I have a really old press. Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm not talking about it, sometimes it presses comics, sometimes it always presses the comic. But the heating elements don't always work, so I need to buy a new one. And I'm not going to show you how I do things on an old press when I want to get a new one. And I will eventually. I do a lot of cold pressing, and I can't show you that because I don't have a cold press. I put it between some acrylic sheets and pile books on top of it. That's how I do my cold press. I am ordering one. I am going to get one, and when I do, I will show you how I do that. But, you know, in the meantime, if you want to learn to cold press, go over to the Cherry the Jitterbugs channel. He has some great videos on the way he cold presses. It's not that much different from the way I will do it once I get an actual press. I'm not getting an old press. I'm going to get a newer steel press, so it'll be a little bit different. And I'll show the differences. When I get a new press that I can do hot presses, I'll probably still get a clamshell because I like the clamshell press. But I'll go through the methods that I use there when I get the newer press. I'm not going to do it on this old one. It's like 40 or 50 years old, and it's on its last legs, very literally. In addition to that, it's in a room that I don't have any setup or room to set up any kind of cameras. So that's the other reason. And that's why I don't show you how I press comics. It has nothing to do with keeping secrets. It's just there are a million videos out there on how to press comics. Go watch them all and then develop your own system. That's the easiest way I can tell you. But I will show you how I cleaned this, and I didn't go into any real big detail on it. I didn't do anything drastic to it. Very light cleaning because to me, it didn't look that dirty. Yeah, it's got a couple of stains on the back. I left those alone. I didn't try to take them out. I didn't use a blue light on it. I don't use blue lights generally because they affect some of the other colors. People will disagree with that, but I'm just not into blue lights. I do have them, I do use them, but not on comics. I use them for toys. Go figure. But let's get to the video because, you know, you're not here to watch me yap my mouth all day. You're here to see me work on this comic that I said I would work on. So let's go over there and check it out. Now you might hear my heater in the background. That's that hissing noise. Try to ignore it, but I'm not turning the heater off. This is the first day it's been warm enough for me to even consider making a video. I said when I first showed this Binky's Buddy that I'd do a little work to it, and that's what we're going to do today. Not going to do major cleaning, going to do the bare minimum. So There you go. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to start with the inside, because anytime you start with a comic, you want to start with the inside. And all I'm going to do is take my brush and brush the insides of the comic to make sure there's no dirt or anything in it. I'll do that with every single page. And as I'm doing that, I'm doing something else also. I'm looking at the page quality. And in this case, let me move this over so you can see it better. In this case, the page is a light tan. I could actually call them cream to, light tan to cream. I don't do that. It's either light tan or it's cream. I don't, and actually, if you look at the inside here, it's actually white. I could probably get away with saying this is cream to off-white. I'm not doing that. For me, it's a light tan because the edges are light tan. And like I said, we're just going to go through the whole thing. And part of what I'm doing here is, of course, making sure it's complete, that there's no dirt, grit that might impact it when I press the comic. I'm not going to show you my pressing. You can see that on a million different channels. Now here we have these little tears. These are made from like a claw-like thing that pulls the paper. These are a manufacturer's defect. They do count against the comic. You cannot have a 10.0 with this in there. Can't have a 9.9 in there. You shouldn't be able to have a 9.8, but I think it's allowed. I don't. If I see those in there, I don't allow a 9.8. Now, because this is a tan comic, or because I consider the inside of this a tan comic, and we're going to go a little bit into grading while I'm at it. But because of it's a tan comic, yeah, the highest grade I would possibly give this comic is an 8.0, and that's just based on the interior. Not even talking about anything on the exterior yet. Now, back towards the back, the pages are more of a cream color. But like I said, I don't judge that. And when you're looking at a comic, look at the center, look at the whiteness of the center and the whiteness of the edge. If they're the same, then it's a white comic. Even if it looks a little off-white, it would still be considered a white comic. And that's because the page, or the newsprint, quality of the newsprint and the color of the newsprint vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, comic to comic, and even issue to issue. And get yourself an Overstreet's grading guide if you don't have it, because all of that information is in there. And that's pretty much the standard I use when I grade a comic. Like I said, minimum cleaning on the inside of the book. I just want to make sure there's no grit in it. I'm not planning on doing any real cleaning. I have this model, but it's a later copy of it. So now that that's done, I did notice that. We're going to start on the front, and I'm going to do minimum cleaning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser, and you've seen me do this before, I'm sure, and my sandpaper, and I want to clean this black off the eraser, so I'm just going to run it on my sandpaper, and there you go. I'll take my brush and brush it off so we don't get eraser fines on the comic from doing that, and I'm just going to go very lightly all the way across the comic. People freaking out. People saying, you can't do that, it'll take the color off. Not the way I do it. If you do this really lightly, it will not affect the color, but it will take off dirt. And that's all I'm trying to do, is remove some dirt. Look at that. Look at that. we removed some dirt. Let's clean it again. Here we go. Brush it off. And I'll go this way. This time I'm going to go this way. And you always go away from the spine and towards the edge of the book. And the reason for that, if you're doing it this horizontally, the reason for that is it doesn't make the page bunch up. If I go the opposite direction, if I go like this, the eraser could grab the comic and lift the cover. And I don't want that. Like I said, minimum cleaning. All we want to do, take off some surface dirt. And I'm still getting it off. So we'll do it again. Very lightly, not really applying any pressure at all. All we want to do, as I keep saying, is remove the surface dirt. Not as much this time. I got a little bit more dirt off, but not much. And I'm going to keep doing this until I don't get any dirt. So let me do that, and then I'll be right back. And I'm back. And that last pass, it's almost imperceptible the amount of dirt I got off. I did it about 30 times. So we'll make sure it's clean. And now I'm going to go to the back side. And I'll do exactly the same thing to the back side. Now this is mostly white, so in theory I could concentrate on it, but I'm not going to. Like I said, minimum. What I want to do is I want to go over this very lightly. The only pressure is coming from the eraser itself and the angle that I hold it at. Because I don't want to take off any of the color or any of the gloss. I just want to remove the surface dirt. You can do this with new comics. You can do this with old comics. You can do this with any comic. You can do this with paperback books. You can do this with posters. And we got a fair amount of dirt off of it. Gotta clean it off. Clean it after each pass. Because you want to know when you stop getting dirt. Now this has a stain on it that I won't be able to get with this, and I'm just not going to worry about it. If I'm not sending it into CGC, why do I want to clean the comic? Well, if it doesn't have dirt on it, it'll make the comic last longer. And I didn't really show you the amount of dirt I got off at that time, but I got a good amount. We're going to go this way now. And we're just going to keep going like that. But as you can see, I am still getting dirt off of the comic. So I'm going to keep going, and I'll be right back. So this was the last pass. Very light amount of dirt on it. I'm happy that the surface area of the comic is clean. But I do want to do a little more to it. I want to give it another... I want to try a few other spots, and for this I'm going to use the Absorbing. This is good stuff. And there's a few areas I want to try to use this on to see if I can get a little more dirt off of it. Unfortunately it's cold, so I'm going to have to warm it up with my hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right over here
where those stains are and see if I can get any of that coming loose with it. It has yellowed right there. Now, of course, a lot of people are saying, well, you should just put it under a blue light. Yeah, well, blue light will get rid of the stain, but it will get rid of some other things too. It will fade the reds, it'll fade the blues. I don't want that. Nothing wrong with blue light. It works great. I'm not a fan of putting peroxide on books because peroxide is an acid. But if that's what you have to do, or if that's what you feel like you have to do, then go for it. I don't know how about what the longevity of that is. So if you remove a stain using the blue light, is it gone forever, or does it come back after a time? These are questions that I have, and I don't like doing things that are going to be undone not too long afterwards. And I'm just going to go over this on the edges and on the white parts. Absorbing can remove color. It doesn't generally, not the way I use it, because I use, like an eraser, I use a very light touch with it. Although I have been known to roll it and just go over the book like this. There's nothing wrong with that. This is actually one of the recommended ways to use it. I'm not saying it's the only way, because it isn't. And I use it a lot of different ways. That is one way to do it. And yeah, we got a nice gloss going on there. Didn't remove any of the cover gloss. I think it's time to press the comic. So I'm going to go ahead and press it, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So I just took this out of my press, and I didn't leave it in there long enough, and I will probably put it back in. It's still got a little bit of, it's got a dimple here, and a minor little crease here that doesn't break color. So I'll need to put it in the press for a little bit longer. I'll probably just cold press it. And there you go. That's it's got a lot of color gloss, as you can tell. You know, the cover is glossy like it should be. It does lay flat. And I'm happy with the way it turned out. Like I said, very little cleaning was actually done to it. Really light. And I'm happy. So we'll see you next video. Well, actually we won't. We'll see you in just a second on my... Yeah, we'll go back to me.
There it is. Now I am pressing it again. I'm doing a cold press on it as we speak. And I'll probably leave it in that cold press for a week or more, maybe 2. I don't know. We'll see. For those of you that are into watching my short videos, I screwed up. I got a lot of Batman comics that I should have already showed that I haven't shown yet. So I'm going to insert those into my next week's. Into my next week videos. So you're going to see them. They're a little out of order, but they're all Batman, so who cares, right? And we'll go from there. And yeah, I like doing those shorts. They're fun. I enjoy it. I hope everybody else is enjoying them too. That's my video. Hope you enjoy it, and give it a thumbs up. If you think it'll help somebody that you know, send it to them. Let them know. Have them come check it out. I mean, I got a lot of stuff on my channel. I got a lot of information on my channel. I'm always throwing out more. Have a great week, and I'll see you Friday night on Horizon Picks Auction. I missed last week's. because it was too darn cold in this room, and I didn't want to see this comic. I didn't want to do that, so I skipped the auction last week. I'll be there this week, though. See you there. Bye. There it is.